Guys, good Friday afternoon. I'm Jerry Miller. Welcome to the I Love CVille Show. Thank you kindly for joining us live in Charlottesville, Albemarle County, Central Virginia, the Commonwealth, the country, and the world on the I Love CVille Network, the only talk show in the region where you, the viewer and listener, can interact in real time and dictate the pace and tempo of the conversation. The show airs live across every social media platform known to mankind. You, the viewer and listener, can offer your comments, your perspective, your thoughts. In the comment section of all social media, send me an DM me, and I will relay your perspective live on air. A lot to cover on the Friday edition of the program. UVA Corner Bodo's workers, Bodo's Bagels, vote 8-5 no for unionization. I think there's a lot of restaurant owners in this community who have breathed a collective sigh of relief. Mandy Wickhauer, welcome to the broadcast. We love California on the show. Judah, why don't we go to the two shots since this is your beautiful sister here and say something to Mandy. And first, good afternoon, Judah, by the way.
Good afternoon.
Nice to see you. Do you want to
see you as well.
Offer some kind words to Mandy Wickhauer?
Mandy, I love you.
Oh.
It's been too long.
That's sweet. Of your two sisters, which one gave you the most grief growing up? Was it Mandy and Trisha?
I think
Mandy's watching, so you should probably just say Trisha since Mandy's watching.
Well, Mandy and I typically got along pretty well, and Mandy and Trisha typically got along pretty well. I think it was Trisha and I that clashed as the oldest and the youngest, but we all had our rivalries.
MJ Arquette, welcome to the program. Fantastic marketer, MJ Arquette. She says $4.99 the gasoline. Why don't we get straight into it? $4.99 at Wawa and Hollymead. It was $4.77 when I dropped the kids at school. It's $4.99 now. Ray Cadell's on the road and listening again. Ray Cadell, we'll get you on the show to talk fireworks soon. I'll hit you up with a DM. So you had some California gas news before we get into one of the top topics of today's show, which was inflation at a 40-year high. Give us the Cali news.
I mean, this is
insane, right? Is this going to be disgusting?
This is insane.
Nauseating?
A Chevron, it's the only gas station in the village of Mendocino.
That's in Cali, California?
Yeah. Charging $9.60 a gallon for regular.
That's ridiculous.
But here's what they had to say. The owner says the last load of gas that they got has to be paid off in 10 days and cost $50,000. 3 months ago, that would have been $20,000 less.
Jeez Louise.
And if she doesn't charge $9.60, she's going to be out of business. And this is the only gas station in Mendocino.
California, man.
Yeah.
At one point, what is the threshold of what it costs you to pump money into gas? So here, I did some research for today's show. A couple who was researching electric vehicles recently made the trip, we're talking within the last month, from New Orleans to Chicago in an electric vehicle. And this couple, they're researchers, so the whole point of making this trip was to document the electric vehicle journey from New Orleans to the Windy City. They said they spent more time charging their electric vehicle than they did sleeping on this trip from New Orleans to Chicago. They struggled to find EV charging stations, and basically to recap the experience, or the experiment, they said it was rather inconvenient to have the EV on this trip. So the question I have for you is, at what point, threshold-wise, cost to fill your tank-wise, does it become, oh my God, this is so expensive, it's got to be EV? Because I think a lot of people, even at $5 a gallon in Charlottesville, hell, even at $6 a gallon, would pay than be inconvenient, especially on a trip that's out of market or out of the area.
You're saying people would pay gas prices rather than be inconvenienced looking for an EV charging station?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I think $6 in a gallon people would still pay than be an inconvenience with an EV charging station. Now, if it starts getting to $9 a gallon.
How many charging stations do we even have in Charlottesville?
There's charging stations. Where are the charging stations, guys, in Charlottesville? There's one at Stonefield. There's one at Barracks Road.
There's one at Stonefield?
There's one at Stonefield.
I wasn't aware of that.
Yep. There's one at Stonefield. There's one at Barracks Road. They're starting to pop up. You know, the charging stations they're not free.
The problem is going to find them.
What do you mean?
Well, the only one that I knew about, because we've been there, is over at the old Coke building, near Cardinal Hall. And if you had asked me, I wouldn't have been able to tell you where any of the others are. Obviously, if you've got an electric-only vehicle, that's pretty key. And if you're driving across country, I mean, think of the big stretches of open space.
Yeah.
You're not finding an EV station at some, Mendocino. They've got one gas station. This is in California.
Right.
How many EV stations do you think they have?
Well, and it takes a long time to charge the car. You fill up a gas tank, it's 5 minutes. Charging your EV from no charge to fully charged takes a while.
I would imagine, as anyone who's ever charged
a battery of any kind. Yeah. So what's the clip?
Charge your phone. It doesn't take you 30 seconds.
I mean, there's no question about it that this gas crisis that would we call gas where we're at now a crisis?
I mean,
I'd say this is a crisis, right?
One of many. They almost all just blend together.
Yeah. What? Pandemic into no. It was COVID early 2020.
Yeah.
Then it went from COVID early 2020 to a mask shortage.
A mask shortage.
Toilet paper shortage.
Oh yeah, that was
Clorox shortage. Clorox wipe shortage.
The toilet paper wasn't a shortage until people bought it all.
Yeah, well, that made it a shortage. Clorox wipe shortage. And then from Clorox wipe and mask shortage, the next crisis was quarantining.
Don't forget the Purell shortage.
Oh, the Purell shortage. And then quarantining, having to stay home was a crisis. And then after staying home was a crisis, the next crisis was...
we had murder hornets.
Oh, murdering hornets, that's right. And we had learn from home, which was a crisis. Remember? We're going to be like, these kids have to learn from home. They can't go into a school to learn. There's going to be an educational gap. They're going to be well behind where they should be. Then we had Omicron. Mm-hmm. Remember Omicron?
Well, Omicron followed Delta and... Oh,
that's right. First it was Delta, then Omicron.
There was Mu, I think, at some point. I mean, they basically just came up with, there were all these Greek letters for
the next variant. Bill McKenzie says there's some at the Colonial Nissan charging stations. And don't forget about the latex glove shortage, Bill McKenzie says. And then coming out of the pandemic, we had Biden. What was the country where we were pulling out? The U.S. presence. Somewhere was in the Middle East, and we chose instead to leave our military weapons. It was Afghanistan, right?
Probably.
Yeah, we left our military weapons there as we were flying out.
Wow.
And then we had, from that crisis, we went into Russia-Ukraine. Russia-Ukraine.
There was a little gap in between that.
There was a gap. Russia-Ukraine immediately springboarded us into commodity shortage, supply chain issues. We had the supply chain issue before Russia-Ukraine.
Yeah.
Because we had...
there was the lack of metals for chip materials and things like that, which is why car prices have been going up.
That's right. Used car market. We had a little crisis with the used car market. Ladies and gentlemen, who's the exhausted word of 2020 was pivot. Is the exhausted word of 2022 crisis?
I think crisis is the word of all of the 20s.
2022.
We'll have to see how 2023 goes in 6 months.
I'm a positive person. I'm a bull. If you watch the show, I'm a bull. I'm positive. I'm a glasses half full. But is anyone left scratching their head, shrugging their shoulders, or even worse, being downright pissed off and saying, 2020, what gives? 2020, you haven't started off that great. 2020 has not started off that great. Is that safe to say?
It's.
I'd say that's safe to say.
I'd say that's an understatement.
40-year high for inflation. I'm going to give you some data points, and then we'll offer your take on the 40-year high of inflation. CPI was released this morning.
Yeah.
Consumer Price Index. It surged to 8.6% last month.
And we all know it's higher.
Yeah, we all know it's higher. The prediction was 8.3%, so it came in higher than predicted. The new inflation figure, the biggest yearly increase year over year, so last month versus the month prior, the biggest increase since December 1981.
Mm-hmm.
On a month-to-month basis, prices jumped 1% from April to May, much faster than the 0.3% increase from March to April. Inflation is still surging. Let's further put it in perspective. Further putting this in perspective, my friends. What all this means is that the cost of everything from food to rent will continue to rise, squeezing American budgets even further. Here's how much prices have increased over the past year for certain household goods and services, according to the Labor Department. You ready for this? Here's how much prices have increased over the past year, year over year, for American households. Gas, 49% year over year. Used cars and trucks, 16% year over year. Mm-hmm. New vehicles, 13% increase year over year. Electricity, year over year, 12%. Food for your house, year over year, 12%. Food at restaurants, nearly 8%. Shelter, 5.5%. Clothes, 5%. Everywhere. Mm-hmm. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. That's why in the lead topic of the show, corner Bodo's workers trying to unionize. Well, the vote happened yesterday, and by an 8-5 vote, the workers said no to the unionization. What do you think was the conversation amongst those 13 people at the UVA corner Bodos? I assure you part of the conversation was this. Why don't we you want to go pro-union or against union? We're the 13 people, you can choose whatever side you want, and you're going to make a compelling argument. Each of us will get 30 seconds and then a 15-second rebuttal. Now, why don't we each go 30 seconds? You go 30 seconds, I go 30 seconds, then you 30 and me 30. You pro or anti-union?
I'll be anti.
You don't have to be anti. You want to be anti?
Yeah, that's...
Okay, you're anti-go. So I'll put you on the clock. I got the iPhone in my hand. Let's go 30 seconds. You got your iPhone on your hand too?
Yeah.
You're going to time me. So get your stopwatch. 30 seconds, and then I go 30 seconds, and then you go 30, and then I go 30. So your UVA corner Bodo's workers, and there's 13 people that voted yesterday either to unionize or to not unionize. You're taking the anti-union stake. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
All right, 30 seconds. On your mark.
I don't know that I have more than...
On your mark, get set, go. Don't start the argument off by saying, I don't know the first thing. All right, you're go. Go.
Okay, so if I'm in a group with all the other people, I'm saying, look, they are not going to stand for raising the cost of everything just so that you can be in a union. We are all going to get fired, and they're going to hire new people to do our jobs. Is that how you want this to go?
That's pretty good. That was under 30 seconds, too. Nicely done. You're going to have 30 seconds to rebuttal what I have to say here. Tell me when I can start. So I'm saying I'm pro-union. If there's 13 people, there are 13 people that are voting to unionize. I'm of the 13 that is pro-union.
You're the 5 that are...
Are you ready to go?
Yep, and start.
So unionizing the UVA corner Bodos is what we need to do. We need to utilize collective bargaining to up our pay and to get some benefits and some better communication throughout this pandemic. Let's all go to ownership and say, we're not going to work here anymore unless you recognize our union, and we're going to collective bargaining. We're going to use collective bargaining to improve our packages and our benefits, and happier employees means better service, better work output, which would yield a happier and more pleasant customer experience.
Time.
Okay.
All right.
So that's my take. You have 30-second rebuttal.
All right, that's good.
On your mark, get set, go.
Look, guys, we've made our point. They understand where we're coming from, and we all know that that our managers are reasonable people. I fully believe that they are going to make changes based on what we've said. If we keep on with this, they're not going to have any other choice than to either fire us all or close their doors, because they can't afford everything that the union is going to require of them.
All right, under 30 seconds. That's your last take. Anything else you want to add?
Yeah, I think that's good.
It's my turn. You ready?
Yeah, hold on. And go.
They can't run this corner location without us as staff. And we can start recruiting staff from other locations to strengthen our position with collective bargaining if we pull employees from Preston and from 29, from Emmett. We can start, we'll be the proof of performance, and others will follow. Kevin Costner, James Earl Jones, if you build it, they will come. Let's build the union on the corner and watch as the staff and the employees come to our side. I rest my case. I rest my case. Either way, do you think the owners of restaurant groups locally, how big of a sigh of relief are they breathing this morning after seeing this vote? Because Bodo's is a trendsetter. We've talked about in restaurants, is there a more darling restaurant brand in Charlottesville or Central Virginia than Bodo's? Can you name one? Let's start with that. What is a more beloved, what is the most darling brand in food and beverage in Charlottesville? It's probably Bodo's. Maybe Riverside Lunch.
Yeah, Riverside is good. I was going to, CNO, but CNO is more
CNO, exactly.
Is off the...
CNO is not for the entire socioeconomic spectrum.
Right.
You got to have money if you're going to be dining at CNO.
Yeah.
Bodo's is for the entire socioeconomic spectrum. If you're rich, you're poor, you have a job, you don't have a job, you can eat at Bodo's.
Yeah.
Riverside is the same thing. Which other brands in this community are more darling or beloved than Riverside or Bodo's?
Maybe.
Can anybody, viewers and listeners, MJ, Bill, Kevin, Ray, Jennifer, Grayson, Lauren, Mandy,
she doesn't
know. Jim? What is a more darling restaurant brand in Charlottesville and Central Virginia than Bodo's or Riverside Lunch?
Wayside Chicken.
Maybe Wayside, but still, you can't put that. I would put Wayside in the breadth of Bodo's and Riverside. Would you?
I think I'd put them.
Josh Batman?
I think I'd put them against Riverside, but probably not Bodo's.
Okay, so we're in agreement that Bodo's is arguably the most beloved F&B restaurant brand in the area. If the corner location chooses to unionize, that would spread, that would trickle over, that would influence other staff.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah, no doubt.
MJ says Tubby's on High Street she loves, Timberwood Grill, but she says Bodo's and Riverside are the top two she believes. I love MJ Arquette. Well done. Bravo. Thank you, MJ Arquette. I mean, it would spread. And how can an employer in restaurants, you and I often disagree on this topic, the view of the employer versus the view of the employee, right? The employer, especially in restaurants, is getting death by 10,000 cuts.
Yeah.
And to add the union thing in the mix, that would be an additional 5,000 cuts alone, just the union.
Yeah, no doubt. And if other restaurants started joining in the trend and unionizing, I think we'd see. I think Charlottesville would lose its status as one of the highest
restaurants per capita.
Yeah.
Bill McChenzie says tip top restaurants should be in there. I mean, and I've said this on past shows. If we make dining out so cost prohibitive, we are literally losing a socialization vehicle for children. Taking your son or daughter and having your son or daughter go to a restaurant where they have to eat at a table or in a booth
Hopefully.
and be civilized from the start of the meal to the end of the meal is a rite of passage for maturation for parents and kids.
Is this reality?
Dude, ask mom and dads. Mom and dads watching or listening to this program. How hard is it for your kid to make it from start to finish at a restaurant, dining in, and still be a civilized person? It's extremely difficult. If you're not
even at all possible.
If you're not seducing them or clouding their potential negative behavior with tablets or screen time, you're not making it through dinner. My kid can go like 15 minutes. Another thing we have to do with my kid, as soon as we get there, we have to order the food for him. We order the food, chicken tenders with fries. You got chicken tenders? Chicken tenders with fries. You guys have chicken tenders here? What kind of chicken tenders? Are they nuggets or strips? Are they tenders? Chicken tenders with fries. Every time we sit down, chicken tenders with fries. You order, you're single and ready to mingle. You don't have this perspective.
Right.
I mean, you hope you don't have this perspective. You hope you don't have this perspective. You got any little Judas around there? What would a little Judah be like?
Oh man, he'd be a demon.
Be very combative. Little Judah. Katie Pearl says, yeah, we order for our kids immediately. She says it doesn't happen. What, your kids, Katie, going from dinner from start to finish as civilized people? Doesn't happen for our family either.
That's why I asked if this is reality.
It does not happen for our family.
What is this thing you're talking about where the kids sit calmly at their chairs?
Yeah. Does not happen for our family. the United States dropped international COVID testing. What do you make of that? The Joe Biden administration will drop the COVID-19 testing requirement for inbound air travelers from abroad this Sunday. This ends one of the longest running travel restrictions of the pandemic. The rule, it was put in place by the Trump administration in early 2021 and later tightened by the Biden administration, most recently required inbound travelers, including United States citizens, to show proof of a negative COVID test a day before boarding U.S. flights. That now changes at 12:01 a.m. Eastern on Sunday. What do you make of that?
I mean, I don't have a problem with it.
What are the last COVID mitigation strategies that are left in play?
Are there any?
That's what I'm asking.
I mean, I think we've just got
Bill
holdouts.
McChesney, Scott Aaronworth, Katie Pearl, MJ, Kevin, Higgins, Yancey, Grayson, Mandy. What are the last COVID mitigation strategies in play?
Don't get Mandy started on COVID.
She's not what's her stance on COVID? You're speaking for your sister now?
Yeah. Oh man.
She's on the West Coast.
Both my sisters were not big fans of some of the. I'm not going to get into
Getting into the politics over here. This is a slippery slope you're going down here.
Any of it, but yeah, my sisters were not a fan of restrictions and all that.
Scott Aaronworth, the Esquire in Virginia Beach, the biggest foodie in Charlottesville, is an attorney, a talented attorney in Virginia Beach. He says masks in jail are still required. Still got to wear a mask in jail. You don't have to wear a mask in restaurants. It's not required.
What does that mean? Does he mean if he goes in to meet a
client?
client?
Yeah, that's what he means.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He's not saying the inmates are walking around with masks on.
Yeah, I couldn't see that.
Well, jail is a COVID super spreader.
Yeah.
Jail and prisons.
It's a closed environment. It's like a petri dish.
It's a petri dish. I mean, can you think of anything else now that international travel and the COVID tests that were required to enter the United States on Sunday at 12:01 a.m., you no longer have to have a negative COVID test to travel into the United States after traveling abroad. That's huge.
Unless you're coming from China.
That's not true.
No,
you just made that
sarcastic.
up. You just made that up. It's a slippery slope you're going down right there.
What do you mean?
The whole We'll leave it at that. Don't you think that the no COVID test for international travel is pretty big? Bill McKenzie says that you need a mask at Centera Jefferson Hospital.
Yeah, there's still some places around. I mean, I've walked by shops in Charlottesville that still have signs up saying masks required. MJ
Arquette, the talented marketer, says, we were just at Riverside lunch Riverside North location, so not lunch. Riverside North because it's chill and my kids can be kids. The food is good, it's inexpensive, and the staff is always awesome. And her children are 5, 9, and 12. Katie Pearl and MJ Arquette are Hall of Fame super moms. Hall of Fame super moms right there for MJ and Katie. Tiger Woods and LeBron James are billionaires now. The only athletes, I found this fascinating.
I'm surprised that Michael Jordan is still a billionaire. I thought he'd lost big on his
team.
No, he had. I think he had a lot invested with Melvin Capital.
Michael Jordan's wealth is grown. He's got an obscene.
Oh, I know he's got an obscene amount of money, but he lost a fairly obscene amount of money in the last.
Melvin Capital, if memory serves correct, was the firm that was shorting or squeezing GameStop.
Yeah, and they lost a massive amount of money, and
because the Reddit forum, the Reddit board,
and they just
got combative with Melvin Capital and squabbled with Melvin Capital, and we saw the power of the internet versus the forecasting of a hedge fund, and the power of the internet won.
I don't think that's quite correct.
How do you not think that's correct?
Because
a Reddit forum used the purchasing power of a internet forum to combat or rival the investing strategy of a hedge fund. That's exactly what happened.
It's very simply put. You act like all of Reddit banded together.
No, I didn't say all of Reddit.
A Reddit
Wall Street bets.
Yeah, but it wasn't a coordinated effort.
It was a coordinated effort.
No.
Yes, it was.
No. People realized the opportunity of
in coordination. The realization happened.
Massively over-shorted stock, and a bunch of people bought in.
It was a coordinated effort.
Okay.
We'll agree to disagree on this. That's a coordinated effort, what you just said. Agree to disagree. We'll move on. For the sake of a talk show, we'll move on. We were talking about how Tiger Woods and LeBron James have now joined Michael Jordan as billionaires with a B in net worth. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, if you're talking about coordination, I mean, you watch CNBC all day.
I do.
Where occasionally what some of the...
Are you going to knock Jim Cramer right now? I knew you were going to knock Jim Cramer. I spent too much time with you. He's going to knock Jim Cramer.
Okay, I won't knock him, but...
He's an easy target.
He is an easy target.
Yeah.
And he is often
He's one of the most hated people on the internet.
Well, he creates bag holders left and right.
Yeah.
I mean, here he is. I mean, say what you will about, Reddit boards advocating for the purchase of particular stocks. This guy is telling people telling people that don't know any better. Now, you could say the same thing about a lot of the people on Reddit as well.
You could say the same thing of a lot of professionals in every space of business.
Yeah, but this guy is reaching an unprecedented number of people who don't know any better.
Through CNBC.
Yeah.
And a lot of people who don't know any better are not watching CNBC. If you don't have any interest or knowledge of stocks, you're not going to sit through CNBC every day.
You're also not buying stocks, and so that's irrelevant.
That's fair. It's a fair counter.
I'm just saying.
It's a fair counterpoint. James, LeBron, Woods, Eldrick, and Jordan Michael are the three athletes that are billionaires. LeBron James has said he will own an NBA franchise, and he said that franchise, he wants it to be in Las Vegas. While Bill McKenzie says Michael Jordan is involved in NASCAR, and that's heavily expensive. And Katie Pearl said, I was told to mask during my labor at Martha Jefferson. Thank goodness my doctor turned a blind eye when I ripped that sucker off.
Amen.
Yeah. Go through labor, birth a child,
No thanks.
and cover the ways you breathe, and inhale and exhale, because that makes sense.
No.
Right? Well played, Katie Pearl. MJ says to Katie, responding to her comment, oh my God, girl, I could not imagine what labor and delivery was like during COVID. Mad props to you. Mad props to both of them. Seriously. Well done, Katie. Two more topics that I want to get to, and then I want to get to what we learned this week. I want to hear what you learned this week. There's a massive chili shortage. Who likes Sriracha that's watching the program? Are you a Sriracha guy?
Not really.
Are you a hot sauce guy?
It depends. I like flavor,
Okay.
and too often I find hot sauces are either just like I don't know. I can't remember Sriracha.
Sriracha.
Sriracha. Sriracha.
Sriracha.
Yeah, but it's spelled S-R-I,
Yeah, but it's Sriracha.
like Sri Lanka.
Sriracha.
But a lot of those like Cholula hot sauces and stuff, they're way too vinegary for me. It's just like hot, the flavor, the heat suspended in like vinegar, and it doesn't really do anything for me.
Chili peppers. Dude, do we have a supply chain shortage for everything in America? Let's rattle off the supply chain shortages for commodities or goods that we need. We'll alternate. Go first.
I don't know all of them.
Well, chili is one.
Yeah.
Because we have chili shortage in the world, they're halting production of Sriracha. You want to go next?
I would imagine there's plenty left on store shelves that people aren't going to be like going and rapidly.
That's an assumption.
Buying up. Yeah, this is an assumption.
How about the baby formula shortage?
Yeah,
Since
that was
November 2021, there's been a whopping 73% out of stock rate on baby formula shortage. How about fertilizer? How about wheat
Less aware
and
of-
grain?
Definitely knew about that. Everything that
How about rice?
would be coming from.
Freaking shortage of everything. On Real Talk with Keith Smith, we were talking about garage door shortages. There's a shortage for windows. There's a shortage for doors. Garage doors, front doors, side doors, back doors, closet doors, bathroom doors, bedroom doors, secondary bedroom doors, primary suite bedroom doors,
You could just say
storage
all
shed
doors.
doors. Shortage of doors. There's shortage of everything. Can't feed your baby. Can't close your door for privacy. Don't have enough gas to put in your car. Don't have any wheats to make the beer. Shortage of fertilizer to keep the grass green. Shortage of Sriracha for your burger. What the hell? Where's all the stuff? So much stuff ain't in the supply chain. Where's all the stuff?
You've got a lack of drivers. You've got
No labor.
Yeah.
No plumbers. No electrician.
Well, that's not true.
No Sriracha. No fertilizer. No wheat. No baby formula. No bacon. Remember when we were bacon shortage? No chips for the used cars.
I don't remember
Heck,
the
no
bacon
used
shortage.
cars. There are no used cars.
There are used cars. They're just outrageously expensive.
There's a shortage of used cars. No mask. No toilet paper. No bleach wipes. No latex gloves. What the hell? Shortage everywhere.
Well, when you send people home from work, I mean, I'm sure some of these shortages are response
Obviously.
to people. Well, not all of them.
Some of them. You said some. Obviously, they're tied to that.
Yeah.
Keep people from working. Of course, they're not going to produce stuff that we need. Travis is watching in Danville. Travis Hackworth. I ordered a garage door in February. It's delayed until May because of a shortage on glue. It's now pushed back onto July. Travis, the king of Danville, one of the biggest evangelists for the New River District, the New River, the Dora in downtown Danville, he said he ordered a garage door in February of this year. It was delayed until May because of a shortage on glue, and it's now pushed back until July. Homes are selling in the CAR footprint, the Charlottesville Albemarle Association of Realtors footprint. They're selling legitimately without garage doors on them, newly constructed homes.
Do they just promise to put it on when they get the door?
Yeah, when the door comes in.
Okay.
But dude, where's our stuff? All right. We encourage anybody watching the program to follow I Love CVille on Instagram. We have the third largest Instagram following in the area behind the University of Virginia and the city of Charlottesville. I Love CVille on Instagram. Follow us, and follow us. What did you learn this week, Judah B. Wickhauer?
What did I learn this week? I mean, I've learned a lot, but specifics?
Judah, you knew this topic was coming.
Yeah, I know.
You knew this topic was coming. You should be able to rattle this off immediately. It's a talk show.
I learned that people might be getting away from meat.
From wheat?
Meat.
From meat.
Yeah.
Why? Because it's too expensive?
Yeah.
That's what you learned this week? Is people are not eating meat?
One of the things.
Anything else you learned this week?
No.
That's all you learned this week? Is people ain't eating protein.
I learned that Mendocino is charging almost $10 a gallon for gas.
Travis Hackworth, that garage door is coming from 1 hour away. 1 hour away in North Carolina. He's in Danville. He ordered it in February, and it's not coming until July. And it's being transported 1 hour.
Maybe if you offered to pick it up yourself.
We don't have enough truck drivers. How's he going to pick up a garage door himself? Okay.
It's sarcasm.
Okay. How would you even consider transporting a garage door? A garage door would not fit in the biggest U-Haul.
Zip ties.
Zip ties? Would a garage door fit in a U-Haul? I don't think it'd fit in the big U-Haul.
If it's one of those roll-up kinds, you just like fold it up.
No, it's not an accordion.
Put it on top of your car.
It's not an accordion. Did you see the photo circulating around the internet about the very intelligent couple that was trying to get a riding lawnmower from the Zion's Crossroads Lowe's and a 4-door sedan? So what they did was they took the riding lawnmower, they got the front of the lawnmower latched to the trunk, they opened the trunk, they put the front wheels of the riding lawnmower hanging over the trunk, like inside the trunk, latched it on.
Does this have a bad ending?
And they left the back wheels hanging off the car, and they were going to go from Lowe's to their house by pulling the riding lawnmower, but instead of pulling it on a trailer, the front wheels were in the trunk, the back wheels were on the road, and they were going to drive it to their house that way. That's not a good idea.
Are you saying that that didn't happen?
No, that did happen.
Well, you said they were going to.
Well, no one knows what happened to them.
No one knows where they went.
That's called Darwinism. That's Darwinism.
I don't know about that.
That is Darwinism.
That's not going to kill them.
No, it would likely. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Darwin Awards are for people that.
But that's the definition of stupidity. It wouldn't kill them. It would kill the car behind them. It could.
Could, if it's poorly strapped in.
It's not going to do anything well for the. Anything good for the lawnmower. I mean, how to wear your tires down on a riding lawnmower. You go 85 miles an hour on the interstate with your lawnmower strapped to the back of your 4-door Buick. You did a good job this week, Judah B. Wickhauer. Really have done a fantastic job of late on the talk show. I want to commend you for that.
Thank you.
That's the talk show. Anything else you want to add?
Yeah. No. Nothing specific.
Nothing specific?
I mean, if you're looking to end, we're...
Okay. Judah says we're ending. Fine. We're ending. Okay.
I mean, that's what it sounds like you're doing.
No, I was saying if you want to add anything.
Monkeypox?
Don't start talking about the monkeypox.
Okay.
He's Judah. I'm Jerry. This is the
I Love CVille Show.
There you go.
I remembered something.
It's the I Love CVille Show. For Judah Wickhauer, my name is Jerry Miller. Keep the money in the community. Keep the support for the businesses and the brands we want to see survive and come out of this pandemic. Money in the community. Spend your money locally and support the businesses and brands you want to see survive these inflationary times. Because, my friends, the temperature on Main Street is one of uncertainty and vulnerability and volatility. I can't be more succinct than that. Support the businesses you want to see survive. For Judah, my name is Jerry Miller. Have a good weekend. Take care.